Manipulation is a quiet thief. It steals your peace, controls your choices, and leaves you doubting your worth, all without you realizing it. But what if you could turn the tables? What if you could navigate manipulation with unshakable composure, all while maintaining your dignity? The Stoics believed that no one could control your mind unless you allowed it. Their timeless wisdom teaches us how to recognize manipulative tactics, stay grounded in reason, and respond with quiet strength. In this video, we'll explore 6 powerful Stoic strategies to outsmart manipulative people without them ever knowing. Picture this: a colleague subtly twists your words to shift blame onto you, or a friend guilt-trips you into doing something you don't want to. These situations are frustrating, but they're also an opportunity to step into your power. By the end of this video, you'll not only see through manipulation, but also handle it with grace and wisdom. If you're ready to stop being controlled by others and reclaim your peace, stay with us until the end. And if you find yourself nodding along, comment, "I choose strength and wisdom," to let us know you're stepping into your power. Let's dive in. 1. Recognize subtle manipulation tactics. Manipulation often hides in plain sight, woven into guilt-tripping, gaslighting, or feigned helplessness. The Stoics teach us to sharpen our awareness and observe without immediate judgment. When someone guilt-trips you, they play on your empathy, making you feel responsible for their well-being or happiness. Gaslighting, on the other hand, seeks to distort your perception of reality, leaving you questioning your own experiences. Feigned helplessness is another common tactic, pretending they can't manage without your help, so you feel obligated to step in. The key to spotting manipulation is understanding these patterns. Imagine someone saying, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me," or "You're always so sensitive, maybe it's all in your head." These phrases are designed to shift blame or undermine your confidence. Stoicism teaches us not to take such words at face value, but to assess the intent behind them. Once you recognize manipulation, resist the urge to confront immediately. Manipulators often thrive on drama and your emotional response. Instead, practice observing calmly and questioning the situation internally. Why are they saying this? What's their true motive? With this clarity, you can respond rationally rather than react emotionally. Recognizing manipulation isn't about paranoia. It's about being grounded and intentional in your interactions. The more you learn to see through these tactics, the less control they'll have over you, and the more empowered you'll feel to stand firm in your truth. 2. Maintain emotional detachment. Manipulators rely on your emotional reactions to gain power over you. Whether it's through anger, guilt, or fear, they seek to provoke a response that gives them an upper hand. Stoicism teaches us to practice apatheia, a state of emotional tranquility that makes us resilient to external provocations. Picture this: someone accuses you unfairly in a meeting, hoping you'll get defensive or lash out, which would only validate their claims. Instead, you remain calm, composed, and deliberate in your response. This not only disarms their manipulation, but also protects your peace of mind. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you refuse to be controlled by others' agendas. The Stoics remind us that emotions are natural, but should be guided by reason, not impulsiveness. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By detaching emotionally, you take control of your responses, denying manipulators the chaos they seek to create. How can you practice emotional detachment? Start by pausing before reacting. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what's the outcome I want here? Will reacting emotionally serve that goal? By creating this mental space, you regain control over your thoughts and actions. Over time, this practice builds a reputation for calm confidence, making it harder for manipulators to exploit you. Emotional detachment is your armor, shielding you from manipulation and allowing you to navigate life with clarity and resilience. 3. Set clear boundaries. Without over-explaining. Boundaries are your greatest tool for discouraging manipulation, but they must be firm and subtle to avoid unnecessary conflict. Manipulators often test the waters by pushing limits, exploiting kindness, or creating situations where your boundaries seem unreasonable. The Stoics remind us that self-respect begins with understanding what you will and will not tolerate. Imagine someone repeatedly asking for favors without regard for your time or priorities. Instead of justifying why you can't help, calmly say, "I'm unable to do that right now." This response is firm, respectful, and avoids providing too much information for them to manipulate. Over-explaining gives manipulators an opening to twist your reasoning or guilt-trip you further. Setting boundaries is not about being confrontational. It's about valuing your time, energy, and peace. The Stoic principle of self-mastery teaches us to focus on what we can control, our actions and decisions. Boundaries are an expression of that mastery. Practice asserting your boundaries with confidence and minimal elaboration. If someone challenges you, remain composed and repeat your stance without engaging in an argument. For example, "I've made my decision," or "that doesn't work for me," sends a clear message while maintaining your calm demeanor. Over time, manipulators learn that you are not easily swayed or pressured, and they're less likely to target you. By setting clear, understated boundaries, you communicate self-respect and protect your emotional and mental well-being. 4. Use strategic questions to redirect control. One of the most effective ways to outsmart a manipulator is by asking strategic, open-ended questions. This tactic forces them to reconsider their approach without realizing you're onto them. Manipulators often rely on making demands or framing situations in ways that corner you into compliance. By responding with thoughtful questions, you subtly take back control of the conversation. For example, if someone tries to guilt-trip you into doing something by saying, "I thought you cared about helping me," you could respond with, "Why do you feel that's my responsibility?" This redirects the focus back to them, putting the burden of justification on their shoulders. It also forces them to rethink their assumptions. Strategic questioning aligns with the Stoic principle of engaging with reason rather than emotion. By calmly questioning the manipulator's intent, you maintain control of your response and avoid being drawn into their narrative. Questions like, "What outcome are you hoping for?" or "Can you explain why this is urgent?" are neutral but effective in making manipulators rethink their tactics. The beauty of this approach is its subtlety. You're not accusing or confronting them directly, which could escalate the situation. Instead, you're calmly steering the interaction toward clarity, making it difficult for manipulation to continue. With practice, using strategic questions becomes a natural way to navigate manipulative conversations, reinforcing your confidence and keeping you in control without creating unnecessary friction. Master the art of silence. In the face of manipulation, silence can be your most powerful tool. Manipulators often rely on your reactions, whether emotional outbursts, explanations, or defensiveness, to gain the upper hand. By remaining silent, you disrupt their strategy and create an uncomfortable space where their tactics lose effectiveness. The Stoics teach the value of measured speech and restraint. As Epictetus famously said, silence is safer than speech. When dealing with a manipulator, refusing to engage or respond immediately shows emotional control and signals that you're not easily swayed. Imagine someone attempting to guilt-trip you by saying, "I can't believe you would do this to me after everything I've done for you." Instead of defending yourself or falling into the guilt trap, simply pause and let the silence stretch. This non-response often forces them to rethink their approach, as they're left without the reaction they were counting on. Silence also gives you the time and space to evaluate the situation. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can choose a response rooted in logic and self-respect. If you must respond, keep it brief and neutral, such as "I'll think about it," or "I'm not sure how to respond right now." Over time, manipulators learn that their efforts to provoke or control you are futile. By mastering the art of silence, you project confidence and emotional strength, creating an environment where manipulation cannot thrive. 6. Appeal to their self-interest. Manipulators are often driven by self-interest. Rather than confronting them head-on, align your decisions with their perceived benefits. This subtle strategy allows you to maintain control while letting them feel as though they're achieving their goals. For example, if someone is pressuring you to take on extra work instead of outright refusing, you could say, "I think it would be more effective if you handled this, given your expertise." This approach shifts responsibility back to them while appealing to their sense of capability or authority. The Stoics emphasized understanding human nature. By recognizing that manipulators often act out of personal gain, you can strategically navigate interactions without conflict. Frame your decisions in a way that highlights mutual benefits or makes it inconvenient for them to continue manipulating. Suppose someone is attempting to guilt you into attending an event you don't want to attend. Instead of declining outright, you might say, "I'd love to support you, but I think you'd get more out of having someone who's fully present and engaged." This reframes your absence as a positive for them, making it harder for them to push back. This tactic is not about deception. It's about redirecting the dynamic in your favor. By appealing to their self-interest, you diffuse manipulation while preserving your boundaries and peace of mind. Over time, this approach establishes you as someone who is thoughtful, composed, and not easily controlled. 7. Leverage knowledge to your advantage. Manipulators often rely on your ignorance to control situations. By educating yourself and staying informed, you can dismantle their tactics without them realizing. Knowledge is not only power, but also a shield against manipulation. For instance, if someone is trying to mislead you about a work project, being well prepared with facts, timelines, and accurate details can disarm their attempts. Instead of directly accusing them, use phrases like, "According to the data I reviewed," or "From what I understand, this approach aligns better with our goals." This subtly highlights any inconsistencies in their narrative, forcing them to rethink their strategy. The Stoics valued logic and preparation. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Equip yourself with the tools to counter manipulation by seeking clarity and verifying facts. Whether it's understanding workplace dynamics, social interactions, or financial decisions, Knowledge puts you in control. This strategy works best when applied calmly and without arrogance. Presenting information neutrally ensures you avoid unnecessary conflict while asserting your confidence and capability. Over time, manipulators will learn that their tactics won't work on someone who is well-informed and composed. 8. Focus on long-term solutions. Manipulative people often seek short-term gains, relying on impulsive decisions to benefit themselves. By shifting your focus to the bigger picture, you can outmaneuver their tactics and avoid falling into their traps. For example, if someone pressures you into making a quick decision, take a step back and say, "I need time to think about this thoroughly." This response not only deflects their urgency, but also puts the timeline back in your control. Stoicism emphasizes long-term thinking and the importance of considering consequences. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the broader context of his actions, writing, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Similarly, by focusing on what truly matters in the long run, you protect your peace and ensure that your decisions align with your values. When manipulators realize that you're not easily swayed by immediate pressures or emotional appeals, they are more likely to back off. Long-term thinking empowers you to build resilience, prioritize your well-being, and establish boundaries that protect you from future manipulation. This approach not only safeguards you, but also reinforces your ability to navigate challenging dynamics with wisdom and grace. If you've made it this far into the video, comment, "I choose wisdom over manipulation," to show that you're committed to protecting your peace and staying one step ahead of manipulative tactics. Remember, outsmarting manipulation isn't about confrontation. It's about maintaining your composure, setting firm boundaries, and using strategy to navigate challenging dynamics. You have the power to safeguard your values and inner peace without compromising who you are. Stay strong, stay thoughtful, and as the Stoics teach, always act with reason and purpose. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join this incredible community of people striving to live with strength and clarity. See you in the next video.